10 years ago, when I was basically broke, I always had this thought in my head. And that thought was, if I ever got some money, and by that I mean, I started to make like some real money, some money to really travel, the first thing I would do, the first thing I would spend all my money on is a big trip across all the countries of Africa. Now the thing is, when I imagined this 10 years ago, in my mind, I thought when I finally got here to Africa, every day would just be a giant adventure, right? Every day I'd be fighting off wild animals, lions and elephants. I'd be in situations where it was life or death, just constantly. I'd be grappling with all kinds of diseases. Well, I've now been in Africa for, how long has it been? Almost 8 months, I guess. Coming close to a year. And, of course, I've definitely had my share of adventures out here. But Africa has been a lot different than I expected. Let me explain.
So this is Uganda. People are so hospitality, like hospitality here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hospitality.
I'm just lounging here. How do you say, like, what's your name? Like, Elinia Liogwani. How do you say that in your language?
Your language?
Yeah.
Lina Lano Guani.
Lina Lano Gwani. Okay. So, Lina Lano Gwani. Pesi? Okay. Lina Lano Gwani. Joyce? Joyce? Oh, where about him or no? Oh. Nera. Okay, where about it? So I know you're probably looking at me. You're looking at my face. And what you're thinking is, look at this spoiled guy. He must have had tons of money his entire life. He must have had it so easy growing up. Had like a silver spoon in his mouth. Just allowed him to travel around the whole world. I know. I'd probably think the same damn thing myself. But to be honest, the past 10 years, 90% of it has been honestly pretty rough. Most of it I spent living off of either debt or I went paycheck to paycheck. I slept in an office for almost 2 years. That's a true story, which maybe I'll tell you another time. But the point is, my parents, I love them, but they're not millionaires. They're not rich. And while they gave me a good upbringing, and they encouraged me to be the best that I can be, they did not hand me a plate of money and tell me to go out into the world. No, I had to find some creative ways to get out there. But I did. I studied, I worked. And what ended up happening was, I've spent so much time away from America that I've kind of been shielded and sheltered from all the crazy politics that we've had going on for the past 5 years. And, I love my country. I love the U.S. But I think one of the most useful things you could do is, if you can, spend an extended period of time abroad, right? Over a year, if possible. Because what starts to happen if you do that is you end up not only starting to understand the culture of that country better and how it's different, but you start to understand your own culture and you just become more objective about everything. And for me, I think that's very important because, if you spend too much time in America, or, insert country here, but, I only know America really well. If you spend too much time in America, I feel like you're slowly going to go insane. And I say that because I think social media is currently turning all of us insane, right? We're living in an experiment that we're not going to know the results of for like another 10 or 20 years when we all have a giant civil war. And I feel like for those Americans who rarely travel, and even for those who take like, I don't know, a week or two or even a month-long vacation every year, you know, you're kind of just stuck in that American bubble, that American way of thinking. Yeah. Bawani.
How do you get?
I said Bawani.
Huh?
Bawani.
No, I'm not a Yoruba.
Are you not Yoruba? Where are you from?
From North.
You're from the north. Yeah. Oh, like Hausa?
Yeah.
How do you say hello in that?
Hello, Yayo.
Yayo?
Yeah.
Okay, Yayo.
La fiesta.
I'll see you later.
Bawani.
Dada. Yeah. What's this right here?
This smoke.
This smoke?
Yeah.
Just smoke?
Yeah, you
like
want
tobacco?
No. This weed.
Weed. Okay.
Yeah.
Igbo. That's how you call it? Igbo?
Igbo.
Like
He's loud.
Like the tribe?
Igbo.
How you doing? Oh, you got one too?
We have soft drink, everything.
Damn, Nigeria's a fun place here.
Okay, I'll come.
Okay. Good. I'll give it back. Oh! That's my boys over there. Okay, thank you. All right. Oh shit. Yeah. So 2020 happened, and we all know how fun that was. Me, at the start of the year, I was working on a startup in Asia, and it was meant to target different Asian countries, travel startup. And then what happened, of course, the pandemic started and kind of killed off the idea. Kind of hard to run a travel startup when all the countries closed their borders to each other. So by fate, I ended up back in the US, and for the first time in almost 10 years, I spent a lot of time living there. Spent, almost 5 months straight, which for me, that's a crazy amount of time. And, you know, I ended up with realistically not a lot to do. I mean, I'm crazy enough where I can always find something to do. I can learn a new language. But, you know, work-wise, not much going on. So I was starting to go a little bit insane, to be honest. Like, I really needed to get out of the house, get out of New York. New York was awful last year. There was nothing to do. And just go somewhere in the world, you know? And I remember I was also going insane because just you'd wake up every single day and there'd be some news story that was just designed to make you angry. And I know how the media works. I effectively am media now, right? When I write these thumbnails and these titles on YouTube, I know what I'm doing, for better or worse, right? Because I want you to watch the video. Well, the same thing applies to the media, except it's a lot worse with them because their way of getting you to watch is by making you angry or suspicious. And honestly, in my opinion, the media in its current state, with social media just feeding you what you want to hear, it's making us all hate each other more. And that goes across multiple groups. Republicans, Democrats, black, white, men, women, any group, you name it. So, I had reached the point last year in July when I really needed to get out of the US. And then this beautiful, but albeit very flawed man, Magufuli, in beautiful Tanzania, they announced this whole coronavirus thing. In our country, we don't have it. He did some tests on a fruit that came back positive. I questioned the validity of those tests, but who cares? He decided in Tanzania there was no virus, nobody was wearing face masks, and they were open for tourism. So I thought, hey, the only other countries I can go to as an American are Mexico and a few random Eastern European countries. And of course, I did eventually go to Mexico. But at that time, Tanzania was by far the most interesting country I could go to as an American. And I had just that thought in my head. It was very faint at that point, but I remembered how 10 years ago I wanted to go and travel Africa. And I was like, the time has finally come. So I went to Tanzania last summer. No plans in mind. Pure vacation. I rarely do that, by the way, but I just went there. Went there to experience Tanzania. And I'll never, ever forget what I was thinking before I went. And, you know, I want to give myself some credit that I'm not completely ignorant, but I think almost everybody coming from the US, Europe, of various races, it doesn't matter who you are, before you go there, you just have this idea that it's going to be very dangerous, right? That it's going to be very disorganized, very chaotic. And for me in particular, I thought people were going to hate me because of the color of my skin and what happened, you know, 60, 80 plus years ago. Not that I could fault them too much. I would get it. So I was expecting it when I went there. So I arrived in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania after one of the longest flights of my life. Remember, I had to fly to Qatar, I had to fly down to Tanzania, and there were no faster options. Kenya was completely closed to tourism at that time. And I got there. It was very early in the morning. I remember I checked in to the place I was staying, took a nap, woke up, went outside, and yeah, I was just greeted with "Habari, mzungu." And I don't know, just from that very first interaction, I could tell that Africa was a different universe, effectively, from what was going on in America. Na wewe unafanya nini?
Tunatengeneza hizi baba.
Okay. Unatengeneza. Unasemaje kwa Kiswahili hii?
Pira.
Pira. Okay, pira. Okay. Tubes, yeah, okay. Watu wengi wanatumia piga?
Hii wanavaa huko wanapoingia mtaani.
Okay.
Hii ndio inawasaidia kuelea kwa.
Okay. Halafu wanatumia hii wanaenda Zanzibar?
Mbali. Zanzibar mbali.
Mbali kidogo.
Mbali kidogo.
Okay.
Hii unacheza hapa. Kigamboni unaweza kufika.
Kesho nachukua hii naenda Zanzibar. Rahisi zaidi.
Zaidi.
Basically, people were being really nice and very friendly and warm in a way that someone coming directly from America wouldn't really understand until they went there and saw it. And so, over the next month that I spent there, I just went out, explored, made friends, just went to the beaches, Cocoa Beach, went to Zanzibar, went all over, went on a safari. Finally ticked that off the list, and had the time of my life. Honestly, that time in Tanzania is one of my favorite trips ever, my entire life, I would say. And I remember time came, I'd always booked just like 1 month to go, and the time came for me to leave, and I was honestly pretty disappointed. I didn't want to leave. Where did I go? I went to the UK after that, and you know, as hard as it is for you to believe, I would have killed to stay in Tanzania over the UK. And so the thought I had in my head on that flight leaving Tanzania was, why is the fact that this country, this city, the fact that it's reasonably developed, you know, it has nice restaurants, it has clubs, it has fun things to do, and it has really friendly people that put a smile on your face. They don't really judge you for where you're from that much. And why isn't this more well known? You know, why is this such a big secret? Because, you know, at that time, when I turned on YouTube, there was barely any videos of Tanzania. I mean, there were some, but they didn't really give much of a perspective of what it was like to live there. And I thought, well, what's going on here? I really wanted to just like share my experience with the world, right? I wanted to like kind of show what I had experienced last summer and let everyone else in on the fun. So with the pandemic killing off my startup, basically any plans I had for the 2020s, basically I had nothing to lose. I thought, why don't I try showing the world what I've seen here in Africa? Show like what life is really like walking down the street. You know, the good and the bad. And of course, there is bad. You know, I'm not here to BS anybody, you know? But there's a lot of good. And the thing about Africa is most people don't see the good. They never hear about the good. You know, the good of Africa is how every day I walk down the street and interact with people, just have a smile on my face. The good of Africa is just people are down to hang out anytime of the day or week. Yep. The good of Africa is you have nice weather. The good of Africa is if you can vibe into the system here, you won't have much stress. If you can't vibe with it, of course, it may not be the best place for you, but I think most people would be shocked at the skyscrapers of Nairobi. They'd be shocked at the order and cleanliness of Rwanda, a country that's safer than the United States and most European countries. A final drink, 14% banana beer. Wait, is this the coffee one or the banana one?
Yeah.
This is the coffee one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the dangerous one. God damn it. Oh man.
It's a fire pig.
Just a tiny bit, alright.
Yeah, I just appreciate for this mama.
Yeah. Yeah. Udategera chani. Bejiza chani. Durakoze.
Nawe.
Yeah, sawa bye. They'd be shocked by the kindness of Tanzanians. They wouldn't be able to imagine the giant matakos of Uganda. I'm just kidding. Ugandans have very nice people too. I love Uganda. Uganda has many good qualities. They wouldn't be able to imagine the massive opportunities that you have in Nigeria. The giant skyscrapers that I can see right over there. I'm not sure if you can, but they're behind those trees. You just don't see this. But I find value in just the daily interactions you can have with people. And so I thought, that's what I'm gonna do. And those are the videos I'm gonna make. Not being a douche at some 5-star resort or something like that. And no offense to people who make those videos. It takes effort to make those. I know. I'm not throwing shade. But those are not the videos that I would make. And that's how I ended up in Tanzania last February again on the journey that I've been on this entire year. But anyway, if you've been watching since Tanzania or Uganda or Kenya, you know I've been moving around a lot. And that's going to continue. So the plan is to go to all 54 countries. And it's going to take a while, I'm not going to lie. I would say probably at least 5 years. Especially because I still want to explore the rest of the world a bit. But Africa is going to be a big focus of this channel. And before we finish, well, I've gone to the Francophone countries like Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal, Congo. We'll go to the south, go to South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia. Very interested in that place. We'll go to the Horn of Africa, Ethiopia, Somalia. Yes, we will go to Somalia. I'll work it out. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we'll go. Somaliland. We'll go to Central Africa. You know, I'm very interested in Congo. We'll spend some time there. And of course, North Africa. North Africa often gets forgotten when we're thinking of Africa, because we usually think of sub-Saharan Africa. But, of course, in the north, you have Al-Maghreb, Al-Jazair, Al-Tunis, Al-Libya, Al-Masr. That's right. I studied Arabic in college. I gotta go make use of that. And I do miss having philosophy. And so, Africa, and the rest of the world watching this, that's the reason why I'm here. I'm here because I love the adventure. But more than that, I love the interactions that I have with people here every single day. And if I'm being honest, there's nowhere I'd rather be. I know, you're thinking, Tommy, stop lying. Really? You'd rather be in Africa than New York City? You'd rather be in Africa than, I don't know, Germany, Australia, Japan, or something like that? I don't know. It's my personality. I like a little bit of organized chaos, which is definitely the description of Nigeria, more than any of the countries I've been to so far. But I just love the spontaneity of Africa, the massive amount of languages that there are to learn. You spend a lifetime learning all the languages in Africa. The variety of landscapes, places to see, people to talk to, stories to tell. There's so much to do on this continent. And for being honest, we're just getting started. So I'll see you in a few more months when I come back. I don't even know myself which country I'm going to come back to in Africa yet. There's some countries I need to come back and revisit again. This is mara ya kwanza maisha yangu. Watu wanaongea mimi
Lakini unajua
naonekana kama Mwafrika.
Kama Mwafrika. Wewe ukikaa hapa muda ni Mwafrika kabisa.
Naonekana kama Mwafrika.
Huyu anaongea kama Mwafrika, tena tumekupenda kama Mwafrika.
Lakini angalia ngozi yako.
Ni Mwafrika.
Ni mweupe sana.
Ni mweupe
sana.
Sote ni binadamu.
Mimi ni mweupe kuliko
lakini wote
ni wanadamu.
So for now, from Lagos, Nigeria, we're signing off. I'll see you next time. Mourier later. Tutu onana. Tula bagane. Sawa. Bye. Tu bien.